Hello and welcome to another Creative Cowshed. It feels, well, it has. It's been 2 weeks since we have done a Creative Cowshed because last week we were off on an adventure. We were at Windsor Royal Windsor Horse Show, and I'm going to say we met Queen, but we didn't. She was in touching distance from us. We saw the Queen in very close quarters, which was very exciting. But this week we are back, and we've been listening to what everybody has been asking for in terms of topics, and different platform-specific topics are quite popular. And handily for us, Mr. Mazzeri has come up with something that's set the cat amongst the pigeons when it comes to Instagram. So we thought that would be a good place to start. Now, I've put in the banner that's here Instagram updates, but that was because I couldn't fit the Instagram is no longer a square photo sharing app there. So I've just put Instagram updates. But it's when did he say that? That was a few days ago.
A week ago. It was about this time last week, I think. So we were merrily at Windsor with no signal.
Yeah, so we had no idea. And it's gained some momentum, and it's been taken out of context. It's been used to scaremonger the whole lot, really, unsurprisingly. So if you ever want the truth, follow Adam Mazzeri on Instagram, and you'll get it straight from the horse's mouth. That's where we get all of our information. And he is he CEO of Instagram, or is he like
head of Instagram? I'm not sure on the semantics of it, but yeah. He's the main man and he's sort of the public face of it and delivers all the updates. And I think it's really good that has a presence on the app and does these live videos and responds to people, listens to what people are asking for. Instagram have got quite a good relationship with the creators. That's another really good account to follow, is Act Creators.
And Instagram for Business as well.
Yeah, so that's where you get all the legit information before it's been expanded on, interpreted in different ways.
He's also fairly easy on the eye if you like a man with glasses. So he basically highlighted something that we've all noticed as a trend, that there is more and more video appearing on the platform, and a lot of the new features within the app are video orientated. And that is, he highlighted that there's a lot of competition in the market in terms of TikTok and Snapchat and all that kind of stuff, which is very YouTube, all very video orientated. And they are listening to the market and what we as consumers want. And he mentioned 4 things, of which I think they're all really important and actually really good news for all of us, not bad news at all. So creators, I think basically what's happened is TikTok set up the Creator Fund, and Instagram have had to level up how they support creators. So that is your influencers, the people who do brand collaborations, brand ambassadors, all that kind of stuff.
So they're now able to monetize, aren't they? In a similar way to on blogs and YouTube. Exactly. They can easily tag products and get a kickback from that, which enables them to keep creating and actually make a living from doing it, which is great for them.
Shopping, which we're all shopping online more and more now, so they are going to facilitate an easier process for that. Messaging, which I think is really interesting because that surrounds that sort of building deeper relationships, starting conversations with your community. So that was another thing. And then not the last thing, was actually one of the first things he talked about, was video element. When Instagram started, and I actually had a memory cut the other day, and I'm pretty sure it was when I joined Instagram. It was back in 2013. and you did the sort of, you hashed some photos together with like a scratchy border and put a horrific filter over it, and that was what Instagram was for. It was and everything was square. Literally everything was square.
Which really at the time was pretty new.
Yeah. And it was harking back to the old Polaroid, wasn't it? You know, a Polaroid with a little something written underneath, and that's where it all started. There was no hashtags. I think it was just, I don't think there was anyway, was there?
No, I mean, I'm just looking back at my feed now, which is just, oh, there we go, dog photos, just like no likes because nobody cared. A hashtag in the caption.
Oh, that's it. There's one of those borders.
Filter. Yeah. So my first post was July 2012.
Oh, were you an earlier adopter than I?
Oh yeah, but I was being deliberately awkward on it. I would be like ironically hipster to be funny. Because I'm, you know, one of those people. Yeah, there's some absolute classics. But yeah, back then, I've got like loads of photos, just no likes, because no one was on it. Nobody really cared. It was just a way to just save snapshots. Like I say, it's a bit like having your Polaroids up on your wall.
Yeah. Digital photo. It was a digital photo album, wasn't it?
I can't pinpoint where it changed, but I think it was sort of 20.
It was when, well, and that's interesting. He did slightly bring that up because he talked about when things started to change, and it was when people started to say, and I think when businesses were starting to feature more and more on the platform, and people were starting to say, we're not seeing any content from our friends or from this, from that, because it was a chronological feed. All you would see was the posts that the people had most recently posted.
Yeah.
If you've got a business account that's flying out 5 to 10 posts a day, potentially, that's what people were seeing. Most of. And they were missing those really special moments that maybe their friends or family had shared. You know, tagging was still in its early infancy and all those sorts of things. So when the algorithm is brought in, and this is all linked in, you know, we're not just talking about it no longer being a photo sharing app. We're also talking about preferences. I think when you say algorithm, it scares people, but what the algorithm actually is preferences. It is the platform learning what it is that you want to see and showing you more of that. And actually, I prefer to not have a chronological feed, because sometimes I go on social media at strange times of the day. I'm not going to see, you know, I will miss stuff. So you made a very good point earlier, and I think this frames it beautifully. The difference between our Heard It Here account, which is the two of us, probably majority me consuming the content, and your Charlotte Crawley Creative account, which I have access to but I don't log into. But say what your observation there was.
Yeah, so it's a very clear distinction. If I'm logged in as me, I see, unsurprisingly, a lot of photos of horses and dogs, lots and lots of photos, a couple of IGTVs, and a few reels. If we log in as Heard It Here Creative, we see absolutely tons more reels. And that's partly because it's the kind of content we like consuming, partly because of research. We're doing a lot of watching reels to get inspiration, to get audio to save. So we're just consuming because it's the latest thing. So we're being shown more of it, and it's really obvious. If I log in and scroll on our joint one, it's just almost pure reels.
Yeah.
And it might be the same person. I think it might have been from Evie. They were like within 10 posts, 3 of her reels from a couple of days, all within the first 10 posts, because someone we interact with a lot.
Yeah.
In our niche, so lots of relevant shared contacts and things, and reels. Therefore, we saw loads of it.
Yeah, and I think that's it. And it's the same, you know, it's the same theory that we see with cookies. You know, cookies mean that we see adverts that are in theory relevant to us because we have landed on that website, or we have used a search term that's related, or we live in a certain area, or whatever that information might be. We see more relevant ads. But when I'm watching YouTube and I have to watch the pre-roll ads, I'd much rather be watching the adverts that are actually relevant to me than ads that are just, whoever's paid for that space. That makes way more sense. And it's the same with the content that we consume on social media. If you are seeing a lot of content that you do not like on Instagram, it is suggestive of what you are consuming. So I will give you an example. I used to be into bodybuilding, the gym, dieting, everything. I went into a very hardcore kind of weights world, bikini fitness kind of thing. I, on my personal account, followed loads and loads of those people, and that was it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. I was just going to see more and more of that content. I came away from that world because it wasn't working for me from a lifestyle perspective, and it wasn't, very good for my self-confidence. And when I picked my personal account back up again, I had to go back through and actually unfollow all of those people because I just kept getting that content, and I was like, I can't get back into this cycle. I can't see it.
You've got to be brutal, like unfollowing, muting, reporting content that really offends you.
Yeah.
Or saying if you see ads you don't like, no, I don't want to see any of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit more effort, but it helps to curate the best experience for you on any of the social media apps. They all do similar things. They all learn and show you what they think you want to see based on what you're liking. And we see it a lot more on Facebook, I think, with lots of controversial posts that flare up and whatever topic it is at the time that's going on. And people interact with it because it's controversial and like get keyboard warrioring and stuff. But then by interacting, you'll then see more of it, and you're sort of triggering yourself, and it, like you said, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You see more and more of it. So you just have to turn a blind eye sometimes, scroll past it. And if you keep doing that, then it will stop showing it to you because you're not clickbait. You're not falling for the clickbait, basically.
And I think that's something we always have to remember. We often talk about Instagram and Facebook from a work perspective, from a business perspective, because that's kind of what we're here for, from a strategy perspective. But as a result of being on there for business, we are also on there as consumers, because you can't have one without the other. So I think it is something that we will certainly be aware of, and we'll keep prompting you from both sides, actually. We've done a few posts recently about the mute button and things like that, because actually I think we talk a lot about social media being a two-way street, don't like post and ghost and all that kind of stuff. But what we do need to educate you about is actually creating a world that you want to spend time in on social media, because you are going to post and ghost if you log into an app and see loads of content that doesn't make you feel good.
And we've seen it happen lately with several close friends of ours who've taken, and we're going to talk about this at a later date, I think, who've taken big chunks of time off the app because they just got to a point where they're exhausted by it. And we're talking about very experienced professional marketers who just had enough. And it is hard work, and it's got to completely get where people are coming from when they say to us, oh, I don't like doing my social media. It's just, I don't enjoy it. It's hard work. And it is. But there are ways and means you can manage that. Things like using a scheduling app actually takes you away from the app itself. So you're not distracted by stuff, you're not immersed in it. So you can schedule your content and then step away. You don't log in to post and then get distracted by scrolling for an hour. Just little things that help to build the experience you can sustain. Like so
really good
to limit your time.
And I think we should be, particularly, I think it got really bad, didn't it, when we weren't going out and seeing people in real life, and actually our only social interaction was on social media, and it got quite like, ooh. Whereas now, you know, my screen time has gone down massively, and actually I'm really enjoying social media again, because when I log into Instagram, whatever account I'm in, I'm seeing people out and about, and it is people sharing their lives again, rather than just trying to make money, saying how sad they are that they're locked down, you know, all those kind of things that we sort of got in. Instagram in particular became a pretty awful place for a while, for a whole year actually, I think, because we were all unexpectedly, I think, I don't think anyone planned to do this, but we were all kind of bringing each other down. We were all trying to navigate what was going on, particularly as business owners, and we were saying, oh, it's a bit rubbish, and then you would read that and go, well, they're feeling a bit rubbish, well, maybe I feel a bit rubbish, and then it kind of snowballs from there.
But I think that's where Insta's they're not new stance, and they've always kind of been like this, but Adam said their main effort is to entertain people. People come to Instagram to be entertained, whether that's through video, photo, whatever it might be. It's a little bit of escapism. And that's why things like Reels have been doing so well, is because a lot of them are snappy and funny, very shareable, cute dogs doing cute things.
Really cool, normally.
People just love it, and you know, it's the short burst of entertaining content, and then you get that happy reaction, and you stay on the platform.
Yeah.
You know, they want it to be like a drug. They want us to be addicted to it and be on it all the time. So the more entertained we are, the more joy we get out of being there, the better for the app. So it's something bearing in mind when creating content, as well as educating. It, you know, for us, a lot's about educating. It depends on what you do, but there's always got to be an entertain element. Like some of Alice's recent reels, some of them completely unrelated to what we do, completely random, and do really well because people just like a bit behind the scenes. The entertaining saga of the dishwasher, the dogs being in the way and being trip hazards. It's part of life.
Yeah.
People can relate to it, and it's amusing. So it will get reaction.
And occasionally we try and slip something educational in, a little bit salesy, like, you know, but it's all very. Reels have been an amazing addition because you can get the humour, the entertaining, but actually you can subliminally sneak in some quite important messaging. And I really love that. I think that is a great tool because, you know, we tend to work with businesses that they're not just a business, it's a lifestyle choice, it's a life, it's part of the, you know, it's a big part of the world. And actually being able to give people a little bit of a chuckle, as well as doing some of the more serious stuff, more fun for me as well. I don't want to just make really serious reels about things. I want to laugh and document something. But, you know, we'll probably go back through the reels in a year's time.
What are we doing?
So going back to what Adam highlighted, so we've kind of covered the video element, but the other, and I think the video element, if you strategize well, your video content should be relatively straightforward. You do not have to show your face in every video. You know,
it doesn't even have to be video. You can have slideshows.
You can have.
Unsurprisingly, a lot of photographers went into absolute meltdown. When I take photos, not videos, just put five photos in a slideshow, or do a couple of before and afters as a reel.
We've done
I've seen a lot of them. Yeah, people go mad for it. It's fine. It's just another way of showing the same content.
Yeah, we did the 1 photo 5 edits. That was a good one. That was popular. We did turning conversations we had at work into inspirational quotes.
We should do that again.
Oh yeah, I think we could probably do one of those a week actually. So there are other ways, and it's just about thinking outside the box a little bit and working out. You know, our dogs always do really well. My dishwasher does well. cake, gin, that always does well. So if you're clever with your strategy when it comes to creating video content, you don't have to go too far out of your comfort zone. But if you can get your face on video, it does make a difference. People do react well to it because we're a magpie for faces. We like looking at other people. It makes us happy, and seeing someone else smile, you can't help but smile as well. But the other things that he was talking about, and the things that I'm really excited about, I think the creator thing is a really interesting way to give a little bit more transparency to the whole influencer society that we're now in. And I think we're still waiting for more information on all of that and understanding how it all works, but very interesting. Shopping, brilliant. E-commerce businesses should be so excited about what's to come, because those beautiful lifestyle images that you have put a lot of money into and created, suddenly there's going to be, well, you can already product tag, but there's going to be even better ways to monetize and point people in the right direction with those. So that's really exciting.
And links coming as well in stories.
Oh, yes!
I'm sure I've seen it in a couple of people who don't have 10,000 followers being able to do swipe up links. So if that rolls out, again, amazing for businesses. You can go straight, link here, swipe up, send people where they need to go.
I think that swipe up thing has got to go to everybody now. But
yeah.
And messaging, really exciting that they're looking at how messaging is working, because we have some fantastic conversations in our Instagram inbox, and we generate business through our Instagram DMs. I wouldn't say it's our main lead source, but we get leads come in through Instagram and Facebook Messenger. So that, again, these little updates and changes, we've got to look at them from a positive point of view and look at how they're going to positively impact us, rather than going, oh, well, they're changing everything again and I'm not going to understand how it works.
Usually there's a reason behind it. They've got a lot of data and a lot of people that they can survey to work out what.
And I think
what people want.
That, I think, is why they are pushing Adam Nazarian and other professionals within Instagram and Facebook to the fore in terms of releasing this news, is that it doesn't just happen and it doesn't just start running through the rumour mill. It actually comes loud and clear from the people who know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that, I hope, if that's how they're going to roll things out from now on, it's a much, much better way to do it. When the algorithm first came in, everybody's heads exploded because no one understood how it worked. Whereas if we had a lovely explainer video from Adam, we'd have gone, oh, fantastic idea. We know how to, we know how to work with this. But it was all a bit cloak and dagger. Potentially unintentionally, I don't know.
But I think the bottom line is, whenever it comes to any of these things, is just don't panic.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing you can do about it. People crying wailing on social media and saying, no, it's going to be like, they're not going to just change it overnight, because they've done it for a reason. And we just adapt with what it's doing and just keep rolling with it. And it's good because it keeps everyone on their toes and keeps pushing people to keep creating interesting content and changing it up, because otherwise it would be boring. If Instagram now was the same as it was 7 years ago,
that would have all left. So just to round it off, from a photographer's point of view, so that is what you are, and a photo sharing app is kind of handy. What is your take on the sort of move to video? How can we, obviously grid posts are still a thing. I don't think they'll ever get taken away. But what can we be doing from a photographic point of view?
I think just more and more, we talked about this before, is your grid is becoming more of the shop window and the showcase side, because it's static and it's where people land when they go to your profile. Whereas in reels and stories, you can be more experimental, more behind the scenes, have a bit more fun. So if you're going to use that video element, that's great, and you can do that. And things like putting a really great photo as your reels cover and having it in your feed. That's a way to get your reels in your feed, but also to get them fitting in. Like you invest in a branding shoot and think, oh, I made a reel, but I want to use the beautiful photos. Just make it the reels cover, put it in your feed. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Put your beautiful photos in a slideshow and make it a reel.
Yeah.
That also works.
I love seeing really, really gorgeous photos in stories, because quite often it's, you know, the likes of me wittering on, and actually then when you hit some really beautiful, like it happened, like bringing Evie up again. Evie she will sort of have like a reel will be in her stories, and then there'll be some of her chit chatting, and then she'll post like an image from a photo shoot, and it's like, it's different. You like stop and you go, oh, nice. And actually, you know, there's no reason not to use your beautiful, beautiful professional imagery in stories. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, and then you can reuse it a lot more then as well, because obviously stories have such short lifespan.
Yeah,
there's not that feeling of, oh, I used that photo 3 weeks ago on my grid, I don't want to use it again. You can use it so much more, and people won't notice because we're goldfish.
Yeah, no, so I think there's exciting times ahead with social media, and I think what I would always bear in mind is there's a lot of competition out there in terms of social media platforms. So any changes that these platforms are making are for them to stay current and to keep the people on the platform who are spending money. And that is us. That is us as business owners, because it is a free to use platform if you are simply a consumer. So they are going to be doing their best to make sure we keep spending when it comes to ads. So they will always have the consumer at the heart of the decisions, but they will also always have their clients, which is businesses, at the heart of their decisions. Because at the end of the day, Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, etc., they've all got to make money, and they make money from the likes of us spending money on ads. So they will always have our best interests at heart. It might just be a little bit baffling initially, but if you're following the people who know what they're talking about, the likes of Adam Mosseri, who is telling you what is happening, it will be fine.
It'll always be fine.
And we will do our level best to keep abreast of what's happening, try and translate anything that sounds, you know, that's a bit like techie and wordy, and try and translate that for you guys. But if you ever have any questions or worries, I was delivering training to somebody the other day, and they regurgitated a myth that they've been told by another person who isn't a marketing professional, but had told them in no uncertain terms that X, you shouldn't do X because of Y. And I was like, we've had it confirmed by the platforms that is not a thing. But unfortunately, these things get a little bit out of control, and you know, they start running these rumors. So always go back to the horse's mouth. Not even us, and that's what I'm saying. Not even us. Go back to Instagram, go back to Facebook, and find out from them. But we do always get our information from these places, so we will do our best not to spread any lies.
Yeah. So to summarise, Instagram is still a photo sharing app. It's just a photo and video and story and caption sharing app. It's just an entertainment platform. Yeah, it's got a lot going on.
Yeah, messaging app. But that's exciting, you know. I think some people, and if you're going to have a focus app and Instagram is your demographic, then there's even more. They're basically creating even more reason for you to make your focus app Instagram and not really have to go anywhere else. And that's exciting too, because that might make it even easier.
Yeah, because at the moment there's that feeling of being stretched very thin, trying to be everywhere, or tempting to be everywhere. So if apps like Instagram and Facebook are nailing it in terms of keeping the people, the users that we as businesses need to connect with, but enabling us to reach them in many different ways and have shops and things and everything we need there, then brilliant. You don't need to be in 7 places at once if one place is doing it really well and your audience are there.
Indeed. Fantastic. Well, I think that we have well and truly dived into that subject. So we will leave it there for today. Any questions about this topic, just pop it in the comments below. If you're watching on replay or watching now, just say hi. I forgot to say that at the beginning. It's always nice to know who's watching. And next week, what are we talking about next week?
Oh no, this happens every time. It might be, I think it's taking a break.
Oh no. Oh no, we're not talking about taking a break. I think you might be right.
I think so. We do this every time. You think we'd learn.
Taking a break, which I open my magic book of magicness. Taking a break, ring fencing time off for both Alice and Charlotte with no access to work for the time off is one of our Q3 goals.
We'll let you know how we get on with that.
This is potentially, next week may just be an accountability session where we both live book holidays. But no, so we are going to talk about taking time off because it's difficult as business owners. So not only are we business owners, but also we work in a very online space, which makes it very easy to work anywhere. And that's the same for a lot of the people in the Creative Cowshed. And even actually if you're product based, it's still very easy to still be working because you can be Instagramming and all that kind of stuff. So I think talking candidly about things that have worked for us, things that haven't, what we'd like to achieve when it comes to taking time off, how it impacts other people, because, you know, husbands, partners, etc. Dogs, horses, etc. all are affected by our online lives and work lives. So yes, we will be talking next week about downtime and making sure we get some. So we shall see you next week at 1 o'clock in the Creative Cowshed. And we hope you have a lovely weekend. And apparently it's coming home.
It is coming home.
I can't say I've watched one match, but somebody apparently, I've heard on the grapevine, it's coming home. So maybe by
we'll leave it there and we'll get back to you on first.
Yeah, maybe by next week it will have come home. I don't even know what actually it is that physically comes home. Is it a trophy?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we're getting excited about. Bloody trophy. Right. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Bye.